Assalamu alaikum students. I welcome you all to the lecture number 10 of the Decision Making in Non-Profit Sector, NPO. Today's agenda is to discuss the preview of the last lectures, what we have studied, non-governmental organizations in the light of United Nations view regarding non-government sector organizations, defining non-government sector organizations in the light of United Nations, stakeholders, yet another term, what are stakeholders, how can they positively or negatively influence the progress of non-profit sector organizations? NGOs at United Nations, law governing non-profit sector organizations, what is an NGO bill, prime purpose of NGO bill, NGO a platform, why trusting non-government sector organizations, failure of non-government sector organizations, critic eye on non-government sector organizations, various NGOs in Pakistan. We are going to, I have highlighted at the end of my presentation the examples of various non-government sector organizations in Pakistan, and at the end followed by the conclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, अभी तक हम लोगों ने जितना पढ़ा वो सब जो है अगर एक ग्लिम्स में देखा जाए तो फ्रॉम द हिस्ट्री से लेके अब तक what are the legitimate, what are the laws governing non-profit sector organization, what philanthropic initiatives were witnessed in the past. Today we are more focused on the role of non-profit sector organizations or इनमें charitable organization trusts and NGOs in the light of United Nations. So the rest of coming another lecture of there on the same chapter on the same topic is focused on the role of non-profit sector organizations in Pakistan. So starting off with non-government organizations, how do you describe an NGO? One survey found 48 different terms and acronyms. Here is a sample. There are 48 से करीब different terminologies हैं और acronyms हैं जो non-government sector organizations को define करती हैं terminologies. जो पहली यहाँ पे terminology है that is bingos, the big international non-government sector non-government organizations. Then is followed by bongos, the business organized non-government sector organizations. Then is CBOs, which we witness in Pakistan, community-based organizations. Then is CSOs, civil society organizations. Then ENGOs, environmental non-government organizations. Then is GONGOs, government organized non-government organizations. Then is IPOs, indigenous peoples organization. Then is GROs, grassroots organizations. GSCOs, Global Social Change Organizations, NPOs, non-profit organizations, and VOs, voluntary organizations. So these are the terminologies which are followed by United Nations. और United Nations की जो terminologies हैं जैसे bingo है, bongo है, CBO है, CSO है, ENGO है, GONGOs हैं, IPOs हैं, GROs हैं, GSCOs हैं, NPOs and VOs, and they are all basically different terminologies, different acronyms which are witnessed by the scientists and social scientists, and they found out there are 48 different terminologies and acronyms. Out of them there are a few which are mentioned over here. और यहाँ पे ये मैं बताता चलूँ कि there is no agreed terminology for describing the non-government sector. और in some ways it is easier to describe what NGOs are not rather than what they are. And it is generally agreed that NGOs are not part of our government or organized primarily for profit motive, for private profits. ये थोड़ा सा बताया चलो in the lights of United Nations what the UN says about defining an NGO when they define non-government sector organizations from the United Nations Department of Public Information. NGO refers to a non-profit citizens voluntary entity organized nationally or internationally. So according to the United Nations, it is a volunteer sort of an effort by the citizens, and it is organized on the national level and or international level. Thus professional associations, foundations, trade unions, religious organizations, women's and youth groups, cooperative associations, development and human rights associations, and environmental protection groups, along with research institutes dealing with international affairs, and association of parliaments are considered NGOs, non-government sector organizations in the light of United Nations. तो NGO क्या है United Nations के तनाजुल में? तो NGO refers to a non-profit sector citizens voluntary entity, an organization or entity ऑर्गेनाइज नेशनली और इंटरनेशनली, नेशनल लेवल पे भी और इंटरनेशनल। मेन पर्पस क्या है जी? कौन कौन से किस किस को वो एनजीओ कहते हैं? प्रोफेशनल एसोसिएशंस भी एनजीओ के अंदर फॉल करती हैं, फाउंडेशंस भी एनजीओ के अंदर फॉल करती हैं, ट्रेड यूनियंस आर ऑल्सो द पार्ट ऑफ नॉन प्रॉफिट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, रिलीजियस ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, वुमेन्स एंड यूथ ग्रुप्स आर द पार्ट ऑफ नॉन गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, कोऑपरेटिव एसोसिएशंस are the non-profit sector organizations, development and human rights associations are non-government sector organization, environmental protection groups, research institutes dealing with the international affairs are the non-government sector organizations, and association of parliamentarians are considered NGOs. So there are lots and lots of institutes which are working on the international affairs, along with there's environmental protection agency over here in Pakistan too. There is human rights वाले भी हैं पाकिस्तान के अंदर जो जो डेवलपमेंट में काम कर रहे हैं. cooperative associations are there, women and youth groups are there, religious organizations are there, foundations, trade unions and professional associations are there. लिबरल फोरम ऑफ पाकिस्तान है, फिर इसी तरह यूथ पार्लियामेंट्स वाले हैं. तो ये सब के सब जो हैं ये यूनाइटेड नेशंस के अकॉर्डिंग ये एनजीओ की टर्मिनोलॉजी में फॉलो अप करते हैं. From the report of the panel of eminent professors on the United Nations Civil Society Relations की रिपोर्ट के मुताबिक non-government sector organizations, all organizations of the relevance to the United Nations, वो और सारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो रेलेवेंट हो टू द यूनाइटेड नेशंस, दे आर नॉट सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट्स and were not created by intergovernmental decisions, including association of business, parliament and local authorities. There is a considerable confusion surrounding this term in United Nations circles. So again, there is a confusion in the terminology of it, but again, they are continuously saying the same statement that they are not the part of the central government or they are not the part of intergovernmental decision. It includes the association of businesses भी हो सकते हैं, parliamentarians भी हो सकते हैं, local authorities भी हो सकते हैं, and this is the report of the panel of eminent professors or persons of the United Nations Civil Society Relations, and they say about the NGO that there is no there is a considerable confusion as far as the terminology is concerned, as far as the notion of it is concerned, but still they are not the part of central governments. They were not created by the intergovernmental decisions, including association को business association है वो भी मिलके NGOs को establish नहीं कर सकती, parliamentarians भी इस तरह मिलके नहीं कर सकते, and local authorities भी. So it should be relevant to the United Nations Charter, it should be relevant to the United Nations Constitution, whatever the NGO is operating on, whatever the philanthropic initiatives or charities NGO is based on, whatever the aims and objectives of the non-government sector organization is based on. So there is a considerable confusion surrounding this terminology in United Nations circle. What the UN says again, elsewhere NGO has become shorthand for public benefit NGOs, a type of civil society organization that is formally constituted to provide a benefit to the general public or the world at large through the provision of advocacy और सर्विसेज. पहले जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन थी वो हेल्थ एंड एजुकेशन पे काम करती थी, आजकल मोस्टली एनजीओ का शिफ्ट जो है वो टुवर्ड्स एडवोकेसी और सर्विसेज देने पे शिफ्ट हो चुका है, और पब्लिक बेनिफिट एंटिटी के तौर पे एनजीओ तस्वर की जाती है. दे इंक्लूड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डिवोटेड टू एनवायरमेंट, डेवलपमेंट, human rights and peace and their international networks. So इस NGO के अंदर organizations follow up करती हैं, they are mostly devoted towards environmental development, pollution free environment is one example of it. Human rights पे काम करते हैं, women rights पे काम करते हैं, peace पे काम करते हैं, and their international networks are still there. So they have a liaison with the donors and they can implement it at any point of time. They may or may not be membership based. The Charter of United Nations provides for consultation with NGOs, but the Charter says कि अगर आप 2 साल या 3 साल की आपकी working positive है और आपकी audit of accounts भी ठीक हैं और आप अपने objective को according to the law achieve कर रहे हैं, only then United Nations is going to provide you the consultancy agreement or consultancy certificate, so that to give the consultancy services to other organizations. As far as NGOs, civil society or major groups, again the panel which I am discussing the report later, it describes civil society in the following way. The association of citizens outside their families, friends and businesses entered into a voluntary to advance their interests, ideas and ideologies. कोई जो सिविल सोसाइटी को जो उन्होंने डिस्क्राइब किया जिसमें सारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन फॉलो अप कर जाती हैं, उस सिविल सोसाइटी में एसोसिएशंस ऑफ सिटीजन्स, देयर फैमिलीज, फ्रेंड्स एंड बिजनेसेस, दे एंटर इनटू अ वॉलंटरी टू एडवांस देयर आइडियाज, इंटरेस्ट एंड आइडियोलॉजीज. The term does not include profit-making activity, the private sector, or governing the public sector. So again, non-government sector, the civil society or non-government sector organization is not which is wholly solely owned by the government, or it is not governed by the public sector or private sector who is there to earn profit. Again, it's an association, it's a voluntary association. It is based on the parameters of providing voluntary philanthropic initiatives towards the community, towards the marginalized community, towards the underprivileged in the society. Of particular relevance to the United Nations are mass organizations such as organizations of peasants, women or retired people, trade unions, professional associations, social movements, indigenous people organizations, religious and spiritual organizations, academy and public benefit non-governmental organizations. So again, it has got lots and lots of examples of non-government sector organization which United Nations is focusing on. As far as the major groups is concerned, it is sometimes called as major group. Major group is a terminology that was introduced in Agenda 21 of United Nations, agreed by the governments at the Rio Earth Summit, and it describes 9 sectors of the society identified have a significant role in sustainable development, and they are termed as major groups. Agenda 21 जो है उसके तहत Rio Earth Summit में they have grouped together the major groups in which the sustainable development they have witnessed. और United Nations said कि जी women is one major group, children and youth is another major group. इसमें भी सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट देखी गई है, इंडिजीनियस पीपल के अंदर भी सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट देखी गई है, एनजीओ के हवाले से भी सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट ऑब्जर्व हुई है, लोकल अथॉरिटीज कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग भी ऑब्जर्व हुई है, लोकल अथॉरिटीज की भी they are major group, they are working together, and there are 9 sectors, business and industry is there, scientific and technical community is also there, and farmers. They are also there. They are major groups which are identified by this Earth Summit and Rio Earth Summit, and it is according to the Agenda 21 agreed by the government. So again, the role of civil society is nurtured in the Pakistani society, and it is grouped together by the Agenda 21 of Rio Earth Summit, and they have grouped together into women is considered as a major group, children and youth is considered as a major group, indigenous people को भी major group तस्वर किया गया, NGOs को भी combined effort को भी major group तस्वर किया, local authorities, workers and trade unions को भी major group तस्वर किया गया, business and industry को भी, scientific and technical community को भी major group तस्वर किया गया, और farmers को भी major group के तौर पे तस्वर किया गया. Stakeholders, yet another term. Stakeholders who can have a direct or indirect effect on non-profit sector organizations' activities. They can have a positive or negative influence on the non-government sector organization, non-profit sector organization activities. And stakeholders can be of any type, and it can be present at any point of time possible. If you go back to the history of 2005 earthquake, अगर देखा जाए तो वहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा stakeholders हम लोगों ने observe किए. एक तो वो countries जिन्होंने sponsor किया वो stakeholder, जिन्होंने सारी funding की donations दिए वो भी stakeholder, जिस government ने implement कराया, that is stakeholder, relief फराहम की army ने, they were stakeholder, NATO forces were there, paramilitary forces were there, US paramilitary forces, they were there to help the people, and they again ये भी stakeholders हैं. जो गवर्नमेंट की जो लोकल बॉडीज हैं, दे वर्क ड्यूरिंग द डिजास्टर अप एंड दे वर द आल्सो द मेजर स्टेक होल्डर. द पीपल हु वर अफेक्टेड बाय द डिजास्टर, द इंटरनली डिस्प्लेस्ड पीपल, they are termed as stakeholders. So stakeholder has got a big, it's a big terminology and it contains lots and lots of entities underneath it. There are certain hidden stakeholders. There are certain influencers in the area. Area के अंदर जो influencer बैठे हुए, local NGO, national level NGO, international NGO, international non-government organization, donors, United Nations is again stakeholder. According to United Nations, those who have an interest in particular decision, either as individuals or representatives of a group, the groups which we discussed earlier, they are termed as stakeholders. This include people who influence a decision or can influence it, as well as those affected by it. So again, the decision is there, influencing of decision is there, and interest in particular decision is there. So पहली जो definition है उसके अंदर United Nations has clearly mentioned those who have an interest in particular decision. जिनका इंटरेस्ट हो, स्टेक होल्डर वो लोग हैं जिनका इंटरेस्ट हो एक पर्टिकुलर डिसीजन के अंदर, आइदर एज इंडिविजुअल्स और रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स ऑफ द ग्रुप. दिस इंक्लूड पीपल, वो लोग हु इन्फ्लुएंस अ डिसीजन, जो डिसीजन लेते हैं. हो सकता है कि वो डोनर डिसीजन ले रहा हो सकता है वो इंटरनेशनल नॉन गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डिसीजन ले रही हो सकता है वो लोकल एनजीओ के पे लेवल पे प्रोजेक्ट डायरेक्टर बैठा हुआ, प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर बैठा हुआ, वो डिसीजन ले रहा हो, फील्ड हेल्थ मॉनिटर्स बैठे हुए वो डिसीजन ले रहे हो, मॉनिटरिंग एंड एवल्यूशन स्टाफ बैठा हुआ वो डिसीजन ले रहा हो. तो हु इन्फ्लुएंस अ डिसीजन? प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर डिसीजन ले रहा है, पोर्टफोलियो मैनेजर डिसीजन ले रहा है, या वो लोग डिसीजन ले रहे हैं जो कि फंडिंग दे रहे हैं. अब जो लोग फंडिंग दे रहे हैं वो भी स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं, जो फंडिंग इंप्लीमेंट कर रहे हैं वो भी स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं, जिन पे फंडिंग इंप्लीमेंट हो रही है वो भी स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं. स्टेक होल्डर की टर्मिनोलॉजी के अंदर देयर आर लॉट्स एंड लॉट्स ऑफ एंटिटीज व्हिच आर प्रेजेंट अंडरनीथ हिट. Then NGOs at the United Nations, 10 years ago, there was a little talk of civil society in the corridors of power there, but now the walls reverberate with at last the rhetoric of partnership, participation and role of citizen group in promoting sustainable development. This is again a terminology utilized by the United Nations. This was a statement. This was given by the same report which I am quoting it from the last 2 or 3 slides. 10 years ago, there was a little talk of civil society. बहुत 10 साल पहले बहुत कम बात हुई सिविल सोसाइटी पे इन द कॉरिडोर्स ऑफ पावर, पावर के कॉरिडोर्स के अंदर, उन ऐवानों के अंदर, उन दीवारों के अंदर जिनके अंदर पावर बैठी हुई है. बट द वॉल्स रिवर्बरेट, अब तो वो वॉल्स खत्म हो चुकी हैं. विद एटलीस्ट हिस्टोरिक ऑफ पार्टनरशिप शुरू हो गई, पार्टिसिपेशन शुरू हो गई, एंड रोल ऑफ सिटीजन ग्रुप इन प्रमोटिंग सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट वी विटनेस हुए. तो नंबर ऑफ एनजीओज हु आर एक्टिव इन यूनाइटेड नेशंस हैज ग्रॉन रैपिडली, especially since the 1990s we have observed, and especially in Pakistan if we witness after the one war many NGOs started their operations and they were headquartered in Pakistan and they are still in Pakistan. They are working on their own current themes. So 10 years ago, before 1990s and 2000s, so हम लोगों ने ये चीज ऑब्जर्व की कि बहुत कम बात होती थी सिविल सोसाइटी राइट्स पे कॉरिडोर्स ऑफ पावर के अंदर. बट द वॉल्स, अब वो वॉल्स खत्म हो चुकी हैं. अब पार्टिसिपेशन का वक्त आ चुका है, अब पार्टनरशिप का वक्त आ चुका है, और रोल ऑफ सिटीजन्स ग्रुप्स इन प्रमोटिंग सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट को हाईलाइट किया यूनाइटेड नेशंस ने, और नॉन गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को हाईलाइट किया. Now, as far as NGO in consultative status with ECOSOC, अगर आप देखें तो नंबर ऑफ कंसल्टेटिव स्टेटस जो है वो राइज हुआ है, और 1940 से लेके 2010 तक के ईयर के अगर देखा जाए इस ग्राफ के थ्रू कॉन्ट्रास्ट, तो 1950 में सिर्फ 40 ऐसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, नॉन गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस थी जो कि कंसल्टेटिव स्टेटस यूनाइटेड नेशंस रखती थी. 1970 में 180 हो गई, और 1990 में इट स्टार्टेड राइजिंग 744, देन 784, देन इन 1886 886 कंसल्टेटिव स्टेटस नॉन गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस 1041 हो गए. 1990 और 2000 की दिहाई में 1505 ऐसी एनजीओ थी जो यूनाइटेड नेशंस की सर्टिफाइड कंसल्टेटिव स्टेटस रखने वाली एनजीओ थी, और 2010 तक 2613 ऐसी एनजीओज हैं जो कि एक सर्टिफाइड कंसल्टेटिव स्टेटस रखती हैं यूनाइटेड नेशंस के चार्टर के हिसाब से। सर्टिफाई उसी को किया जाता है जो कि लॉज को फॉलो करता है और 3 इयर्स की प्रोग्रेस शो करता है। उसके बाद इकोसॉक जो है वो अपने लॉ के तहत उनको कंसल्टेटिव स्टेटस जो है वो ऑफर करती है। तो ये अगर आप देखें यहाँ पे नंबर ऑफ कंसल्टेटिव स्टेटस गिवन टू द नॉन गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को देखा गया विद द ड्यूरेशन, विद द ईयर, और इसमें सबसे ज्यादा जो इंप्रूवमेंट हुई है वो 1990 से 2010 के दरमियान हुई है कि 2613 एनजीओज ऐसी हैं जो कि कंसल्टेटिव स्टेटस रखती हैं यूनाइटेड नेशंस का। NGOs in intergovernmental processes में there are 4 important functions. Number 1 is they need to set agendas, or it should be based on the philanthropic initiatives. It should be based on the community development. It should be based on the themes and objectives which are written under the law. And agenda should be not deviating themselves from the community participation or sustainable development on the basis of which the NGO is formed. They should be following the same agenda on the basis of which the law has allowed the non-government sector organization. So negotiating outcomes are still there. 4 important functions hai. Pehla, setting agenda. They need to have their aims and objectives. They need to have their own agenda. Then they need to negotiate on the outcomes. Conferring legitimacy, as I told you, the law is promulgated and law is there to is the boundary. Law is there, the guideline is there, the legitimate guideline is there, which a non-government sector organization has to comply. Then is implementing solutions. So there are 4 major agendas. If you talk about ED, if you talk about Save the Children, if you talk about Oxfam GB, if you talk about Action Against Hunger, if you talk about SASHE, if you talk about Khidmat Trust, if you talk about Muslim Aid, if you talk about Aga Khan Rural Support Program, then all have got these 4 important functions underneath. First one is then they have their own clear agenda. Second is they need to negotiate on the outcomes. Outcome is the final objective of the non-government sector organizations. Then is जब हम outcomes की बात तब करेंगे जब हम result based management को देखेंगे, monitoring and evaluation का एक ऐसा tool है जिसमें हम लोग inputs, outputs और outcomes को बगौर जायजा लेंगे कि ये क्या चीजें हैं, और हम देखेंगे कि नॉन गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन किस तरीके से निगोशिएट करती हैं ऑन आउटकम्स. और अगेन दे नीड टू कंप्लाई, नॉन गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हैज टू कंप्लाई विद द लेजिटिमेसी और विद द लॉज गवर्निंग गवर्न अंडर वन कंट्री, जैसे सोसाइटीज रजिस्ट्रेशन एक्ट है, ट्रस्ट एक्ट है, वॉलंटरी सोशल वेलफेयर एजेंसीज ऑर्डिनेंस है 1961 का, सो चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट एक्ट है, सो वक्फ एक्ट है. तो दे नीड टू कंप्लाई विद द लेजिटिमेसी ऑफ द one particular law or other laws which the organization is based on. Then they need to provide the solutions to the problems. जैसा स्टार्ट से बात देखी गई कि NGOs are there to provide the solution to the problem. They need to come up with the evolutionary change. So the 4 major functions are there. One is setting agenda. They need to have an agenda, then negotiating outcomes, then third is conferring legitimacy and compliance with the legitimacy, then fourth one is implementing solutions. So there are 4 important functions. Role of NGOs in MEAs, and agar aap dekhein to enhancing the knowledge base, advocacy and lobbying, and positive lobbying, optimistic lobbying, not based on the political scenario. They need to be with no discrimination, with no unbiasedness. They need to advocate people. Membership in the national delegations, contribution to compliance review and enforcement, as well as dispute settlement procedures, ensuring transparency in the work. I have given you an example of World Food Program, which is one of the transparent system which in Pakistan I personally have visited and witnessed that providing food to the needy of people of Pakistan or in the world, they are working as a transparent system, supporting international secretariats, broader functions of NGO in international environmental governance, pollution-free environment, noise-free environment. So NGOs are still there. कि वो आप देख रहे हैं कि जी कराची में गंद बखेर दिया गया तो वहाँ से सफाई हो रही है, एक NGO काम कर रही है. बेसिकली वहां पे क्लीन फैसिलिटीज, क्लीन इन्वायरमेंट देना उस एनजीओ का मकसद है. सो द रोल ऑफ एनजीओज अगर आप देखें तो दे आर इनहांसिंग द नॉलेज बेस, एडवोकेसी एंड लॉबिंग, membership and national delegation, contribution to compliance, new review and enforcement. Review and enforcement as well as dispute settlement procedures. किसी तरह conflict individual level पे आ जाता है, कोई organization level पे conflict आ जाता है, कोई stakeholders के level पे conflict आ जाता है, तो they need to come up with the solution of that particular problem. They need to settle the disputes up, and then they need to ensure the transparency of the processes. Whatever processes they have in their particular circle, they need to ensure the smooth processes. They need to ensure the transparent processes over there. Support international secretariats of their own particular organizations, their headquarters, then they need to support them. Then broader functions of NGO in international environmental governance, that is also a role which we have witnessed in Pakistan. What is United Nations approach to civil society? The civil societies की जो वो approach है, they are based on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major approaches. First one is service delivery. Organizations that develop, monitor and implement projects and programs or services, these civil society organizations or community-based organizations are based on the grassroots level or work closely with the community-based organizations. So these are the organizations, community-based organizations, which are basically implementing the projects and programs, and at the end of the day, an NGO needs to monitor, they need to develop, they need to monitor, and they need to implement those projects and program policies and services through CBOs, and they need to monitor it on regular intervals. They need to review it on the various levels and on various intervals. Week by week भी review हो सकता है, फील्ड के more often visits भी हो सकते हैं, और साथ साथ डॉक्यूमेंट्स की जो कम्युनिटी बेस्ड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इंप्लीमेंट कर रही है उसको भी एनजीओ जो है वो यूनाइटेड नेशंस ये कहती है कि अप्रोच ये होनी चाहिए कि आप उनको भी मॉनिटर करें. Then is representation. Organization that aggregate citizen voices. These include CSOs umbrella, civil society organizations umbrella, and network organizations and indigenous people group. So representation should be given to each and every entity who's working for the philanthropic initiatives. Then is advocacy and policy inputs. Organizations that provide expertise and lobby on particular issues. They include think tanks, research oriented institutions and watchdog institutions. So अगर हम OCHA की बात करें, Office of Combined Humanitarian Assistance की, so they are watchdog institutions. They watch the working of any United Nations organizations, and they come and they visit frequently. Then there are think tanks and there are research oriented specialists and institutions are there. So organizations are there, they can advocate and they can come with the policy input. Then is the capacity building. So organizations that provide support to other community service organizations, civil society organizations include funding, capacity building के लिए fund raise करना, training कराना, raising awareness among the people. These institutions include foundations and major NGOs. ये United Nations का towards civil society एक approach है, जिसमें पहली है जी service delivery, second is representation, that every entity should be represented, third is advocacy and policy inputs, capacity building, and last but not the least is social functions. Organizations that foster collective social activities include religious groups. So there are 5 major parts of or steps of the approach which is towards the civil society. Now, as far as if you witness the role of NGOs, now NGO are tugboats in international channels. Number 2, social movements they take our unlikely idea, make it seem feasible, then put it into practice. Then C, civil society is not just a resting place for social movements on their way to the state. It is meaningful and sometimes crucial as a site of political action in its own right. And D, the rise of global idiots. Any group with a fax machine or modem has the potential to distort public debate. So again, the following quote suggests some different opinions of the role of NGOs. And what do you think? In my personal view, NGOs are tugboats in international channels. Then B, social movements take an unlikely idea, make it seem feasible, then put it into practice. C, civil society is not just a rest place. It is not a place to do rest for social movements. on their way to state. It is a meaningful and sometimes crucial as well as a site of political action in its own right. And D, the rise of the global idiots. Any group with a fax machine, iron modem, has the potential to distort public debate, to distort development sites. So 4 important roles of one NGO, or opinions of regarding one NGO, is highlighted. Then if you see in the history, if we turn the pages of history, we will find out the anti-slavery movement. The anti-slavery movement, founded in England in the late 18th century, it gave rise to many organizations and eventually led to World Anti-Slavery Convention 1840, a milestone gathering to coordinate the work of citizen organizations on an international basis. So this is the theme, this is the origin of non-government sector organizations in England, where anti-slavery movement, they have started in late 18th century, and it gave rise to the many organizations, eventually led to the World Anti-Slavery Convention of 1840. 1840 में वर्ल्ड एंटी स्लेवरी कन्वेंशन जो है वो हुआ, और माइलस्टोन गैदरिंग हुई, एक लोगों की बहुत बड़ी गैदरिंग हुई टू कोऑर्डिनेट द वर्क ऑफ सिटीजन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस ऑन इंटरनेशनल बेसिस. The World Alliance of YMCAs was founded soon after in 1855. An International Committee for Red Cross came into being in 1863. हमारे पास भी इधर H9 के अंदर इंटरनेशनल कमेटी फॉर रेड क्रॉस ICRC वाले मौजूद हैं, और वो 1863 के काम करते हैं. In summary, terminologies around NGO varies. They are defined by United Nations as non-profit, citizens, voluntary entities organized nationally or internationally. A range of other terms are used almost interchangeably. Particularly stakeholders, civil societies and major groups, they are the part of it. NGOs has been involved in United Nations since its inception. जब से United Nations बनी, तब से NGOs involved हैं, और rate of involvement has grown exponentially. अगर आप देखें तो बहुत ज़्यादा जो इन्वॉल्वमेंट का रेट है एनजीओस का, वो राइज कर गया, और डिफरेंट एजेंसीज ऑफ यूनाइटेड नेशंस हैव देयर ओन एक्रीडेशन अरेंजमेंट्स, और जिस तरीके से वो उनका परफॉर्मेंस एक्रीडेट करते हैं उसी हिसाब से यूनाइटेड नेशंस की अपनी एजेंसीज का अपना अपना एक तरीकाकार है. एनजीओस ब्रिंग नॉलेज एंड इंफॉर्मेशन, न्यू इश्यूज एंड एक्सपर्ट एडवाइस to intergovernmental negotiations, and can play different roles, including NGO usually seem to take an increasingly important role in the political life. Some critics are concerned that NGOs speak in many different and conflicting voices that can fragment and weaken political actions. So again, this is again a criticism. जो role of NGOs in Pakistan में देखा कि बहुत ज़्यादा different voices और conflicting voices भी emerge होना शुरू हो गई for the past 2 decades से हम लोग देख रहे हैं, 20 years से देख रहे हैं कि लोग इनको इसको कहते थे कि ये political एक एजेंडा के तहत भी ये NGO बना दी गई है. Many respected NGOs they work hard to overcome this narrowness. बहुत ज़्यादा NGOs जो हैं इस criticism को ख़त्म करने के लिए क्लोज पार्टनरशिप करते हैं विद अदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस. और जिस तरह बात हुई सिक्योरिटी मीटिंग्स की, तो सिक्योरिटी मीटिंग्स में भी हर एक एनजीओ का अपना अपना औहदेदार जो है वो लोग आया हुआ होता है उस मीटिंग को अटेंड करने के लिए. सम एनजीओस देमसेल्व्स स्पेशलाइज इन कोalition बिल्डिंग, सो देयर आर अदर एनजीओस व्हिच आर स्पेशलाइज्ड इन कोalition बिल्डिंग. NGOs are often seen as synonymous with non-profit sector, but a distinction between the two is useful. ये ज़रूरी है कि NGO में और non-profit sector में distinction होना चाहिए. Non-profit sector includes a wide range of organizations, including museums, universities, hospitals, that focus on the services and rarely, if ever, engage in advocacy. तो नॉन प्रॉफिट सेक्टर के अंदर तो बहुत ज्यादा ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, बहुत ज्यादा एंटिटीज फॉलो अप करती हैं, जिसमें म्यूजियम भी हैं, यूनिवर्सिटीज भी हैं, हॉस्पिटल्स भी हैं, एंड दे फोकस ऑन सर्विसेज एंड रियली इंगेज इन एडवोकेसी. By contrast, NGOs always have an important advocacy mission. Pakistan is in deep civil and economic crisis. During the past decade, the standard of living has been deteriorated. Poverty has increased. Public institutions have delayed, causing inadequate in provision of essential services of any quality, and political and legal institutions lack the public trust due to the corruption and cycles of political crisis. So again, this is the story in Pakistan, that civil and economic crises are over here, and there are the changes, and due to which the planned change is very hard to implement, and standard of living is also gone down. Poverty has decreased. Public institutions have delayed, causing inadequate provision of essential services of any quality, and political and legal institutions lack the public trust due to corruption and cycles of political crisis. Reversing this trend and returning Pakistan to the path towards democratic and economic reform are in the U.S. government's interest. This is one opinion of under United Nations, that U.S. has also government has got interest in developing the democracy and economic reform in the country, and they want to return Pakistan. They want to take back Pakistan from that depression path towards the again development sector. Mobilization. And since independence, Pakistan has shifted among various forms of parliamentary, military and presidential governments in pursuit of political stability. Civil society in Pakistan is generally weak and has only recently begun to address macro political issues. अभी recently इतनी awareness develop हुई है, और that's why they are addressing on macro political issues. Nonetheless, there are some potentially promising results that are beginning to emerge from the efforts of coalitions and networks of NGOs and community-based organizations to educate citizens about the meaning of democracy, representation and role of voters. अभी आपने देखा, अभी recently जब elections हुए तो 2000 इस year में, तो observe ये हुआ 2013 में कि आप back end अगर आप view देखें तो बहुत सी एनजीओज ने अवेयरनेस दी इलाके में लोगों को जाके कि वोट आपका हक है, वोट का सही इस्तेमाल होना चाहिए. लोगों को एजुकेशन भी एनजीओज ने दी, रिप्रेजेंटेशन भी लोगों को बताएगी कि हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू रिप्रेजेंट योरसेल्फ इन ड्यूरिंग इलेक्शन, डेमोक्रेसी क्या होती है उसके भी खदोखाल लोगों को पहुंचाए गए, अवेयरनेस दी गई, एडवोकेसी दी गई. टैफ्ट इज देयर, USAID has done fabulous job in coming up with the awareness in the respective stakeholders or in the respective areas of the people. A time came when in third world countries, including Pakistani people, they realized that the services being provided by the government or its various departments either do not exist or of an inferior quality and quantity. So now Pakistani people, they have realized that we are developing nation. Our government hasn't got that much capability and capacity to support each and everybody. So now they are lifting themselves on their own. NGOs are making themselves, they are pumping their blood up so they need to build on their own. They need to work on their own. Eventually people realize to work on self-help basis by establishing local groups, initially at mohalla street level and then at the national level and eventually on the international level. So now अभी ये चीज मैंने आपको वजह की कि बहुत से लोग जो हैं, बहुत आवाम जो है वो अब सेल्फ हेल्प के मुताबिक now they are forming a mohalla street and national level mohalla street committees, local groups, in order to develop themselves personally, in order to develop the community personally, in order to work for the marginalized community. Now people have initiated themselves up क्योंकि उनको इस चीज का भी अंदाजा है कि गवर्नमेंट हर वक्त हर जगह पे नहीं पहुंच सकती, कैपेसिटी एंड कैपेबिलिटी की भी कमी है और साथ क्वालिटी ऑफ द सर्विस की भी कमी देखी गई. लेकिन अब चूंकि लोगों ने ये चीज रियलाइज कर ली है, अब सेल्फ हेल्प पे दे आर बेस्ड ऑन एंड दे आर बेस्ड ऑन एस्टैब्लिशिंग लोकल ग्रुप्स इनिशियली एट मोहल्ला स्ट्रीट लेवल एंड देन एट द नेशनल लेवल. ज्यादातर डेवलपमेंट वर्क दे आर कैरिड आउट विद द ओरिएंटेशन ऑफ वेलफेयर एंड थ्रू इंडिजीनियस अवेलेबल ह्यूमन, नेचुरल एंड फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्सेज. कोई भी डेवलपमेंट वर्क जो है, चाहे वो अवेयरनेस ही इलाके में क्यों नहीं देना, चाहे वो एडवोकेसी क्यों नहीं देना, चाहे वो इंटरनली डिस्प्लेस पीपल की हालत ही को क्यों नहीं बेहतर करना, it requires resources in the form of human, in the form of natural, in the form of financial resources. So लोगों को welfare की orientation देने के लिए भी ये resources चाहिए. आपको किसी भी theme development sector के अंदर implement करनी है, तो जो NGOs कर रही हैं, they require to have natural, they require to have human, and equally they require to have financial resources in their pockets so that they can carry out the work of orientation of welfare, or they can advocate people in their own respective domains. However, thanks to foreign aid for development, which came through various channels and was helpful for these groups to grow up and to bank upon. Foreign aid is there. Foreign aid, मैं आपको Save the Children की example दूँ. Save the Children UK जो aid पाकिस्तान में implement करता है. When I was in when I was in London, I found out that कि जी Save the Children have got their own stores, जहाँ पे लोग अपने कपड़े, अपनी चीजें जो है ह्यूज चीजें भी लाके दे जाते हैं, और वो फिर सेव द चिल्ड्रन बेचता है, और उसके बाद जो पैसा बनता है सेव द चिल्ड्रन का वो पाकिस्तान में आता है और पाकिस्तान में वो इम्प्लीमेंट होता है. सो अगेन foreign aid is there, foreign funding is there for the development purpose, for the community purpose, for the sustainable development purpose, for the social awareness देना लोगों को, for advocacy purpose. The available funds that initially was SIP-owned through the government or shared by another non-government sector organization, और ये NGO रिसोर्स सेंटर जो सोसाइटी सोशल पॉलिसी डेवलपमेंट सेंटर है कराची का, उन्होंने ये चीज 1999 में ये चीज लिख दी थी कि जो अब यूनाइटेड नेशंस है वो गवर्नमेंट को पैसा नहीं दे रही, वो नॉन गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को डायरेक्टली फंड करें ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ देयर प्रोग्रेस, ऑन द बेसिस, जैसे मैंने कहा कि चार्टर भी मिलेगा तब, कंसल्टेटिव स्टेटस भी तब मिलेगा, 2 साल की वर्किंग होगी. यूनाइटेड नेशन और जितने भी डोनर्स हैं, जैसे मल्टीलैटरल, बायलैटरल, इंटरनेशनल डोनर्स और फिलैंथ्रोपिक इनिशिएटर्स हैं, वो लोग अब डायरेक्ट नॉन गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को फंड कर रहे हैं ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द प्रोग्रेस, एंड दे आर विटनेसिंग देयर प्रोग्रेस by having a frequent visit, or they can have an audit. They can find out through the demand of an audit statement of the NGO. There are various laws which govern NPOs. We have discovered them from the last many lectures, and now we are again studying the same laws. Thus, the role of NGOs in Pakistan are governed through these laws, these legitimate policies, and these are the laws which were made by Britishers back in 1880, after 1857, 1870s, 80s में. और main जो law है, the core law of Societies Registration Act of 1860, followed by the Trust Act of 1882. Then is Charitable Endowment Act of 1890, the Cooperative Societies Act of 1925, the Voluntary Social Welfare Ordinance in 1961, the Companies Ordinance under Section 42 of 1984. So there are major 6 laws. Now there are 18 laws out of 6 they are over here. NGOs and other non-profit sector organizations, they are registered under these laws, and they need to comply with the directions given under the law. They need to follow the law as accurately as the law says about it. So if they breach it, then there are terminations, there are dissolutions, there are again if organization is not following the objectives, then हर लॉ के अंदर वेरियस गाइडलाइंस हैं, और उन गाइडलाइंस के हिसाब से फिर डिसीजन होता है नॉन प्रॉफिट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस का. तो जो लॉज हैं उसमें सोसाइटीज रजिस्ट्रेशन एक्ट को हमने लास्ट लेक्चर में देखा, देन ट्रस्ट एक्ट ऑफ 1882 को ऑब्जर्व किया, चैरिटेबल एंडोमेंट एक्ट ऑफ 1890 इज देयर, कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज एक्ट ऑफ 1925 इज देयर, वॉलंटरी सोशल वेलफेयर एजेंसीज ऑर्डिनेंस ऑफ 1961 इज देयर, एंड कंपनीज ऑर्डिनेंस अंडर सेक्शन 42 ऑफ 1984 कि कोई नॉन प्रॉफिट कंपनी बनानी है तो वो किस तरह बनेगी, वो सेक्शन 42 है कंपनीज ऑर्डिनेंस का 1984. As far as NGO bill is concerned, which happened to be passed in 1996, in 1994 government of Pakistan GOP has decided to introduce a new act for the registration of NGOs. It was introduced in the Senate of Pakistan as Social Welfare Agencies Registration and Regulation Act 1996 on January 25th, 1996. और ये लॉ क्या है, ये एनजीओ बिल क्या कहता है, इसको जो सेनेट ऑफ पाकिस्तान है उसने सोशल वेलफेयर एजेंसीज का रजिस्ट्रेशन एंड रेगुलेशन एक्ट का नाम दिया 1996 में, और ये जनवरी 25 1996 को ये चीज लॉन्च हुई. Since its inception, The primary purpose of the bill was to unify various existing rules and regulations. कोई एक प्लेटफॉर्म देना एनजीओ का बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी हो गया था, क्योंकि बहुत से लॉज आपने ऑब्जर्व किए और हर एग्जिस्टिंग रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस को एक यूनिफाइड करना, एक मकाम पे लेकर आना एनजीओ बिल इसलिए बनाया गया. वन ऑफ द रीजन परहैप्स वाज व्हेनेवर एनी रजिस्ट्रेशन अथॉरिटी विजिट्स टू एन एनजीओ, इट रिफ्यूजेस टू कोऑपरेट विद देम ऑन द बेसिस दैट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज नॉट रजिस्टर्ड विद दैट पर्टिकुलर डिपार्टमेंट. एक बहुत वैलिड रीजन इस बिल की ये थी कि जब अथॉरिटीज जाती थी, रजिस्ट्रेशन अथॉरिटी एनजीओ के दफातर में, तो एनजीओ आगे से रिफ्यूज कर देती थी कि जी हम तो किसी और लॉ के तहत, किसी और डिपार्टमेंट के तहत रजिस्टर्ड हैं, आपका कोई काम नहीं बनता कि आप हमारी इस एनजीओ में आके चेक करें. सो द लॉ इज देयर टू फुलफिल दैट रिक्वायरमेंट. अब और उसके बाद अगर आप गौर से अगर मुशाहिदा किया जाए कि एनजीओ की बिल की जो डिस्कशन हुई और जो एनजीओ का बिल 1996 में पास हुआ, एनजीओज इन पाकिस्तान हेल्ड अ नंबर ऑफ मीटिंग्स थ्रू आउट द कंट्री टू डिस्कस द इशू ऑफ एनजीओ बिल. बहुत ज्यादा एनजीओज ने इस पर डिस्कशन की. अ सीरीज ऑफ मीटिंग वाज आल्सो हेल्ड बिटवीन एनजीओ रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स एंड कंसर्न्ड मिनिस्टर्स एंड गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल्स. These meetings developed a basic understanding between the two concerns. However, any concrete results has not been come out, as the bill is still under consideration in the upper house. So still it is not decided as yet. It is still the part of the upper house, and because lots and lots of people they gave their ideas, and they want to eradicate that, they want to finish the situation up, and they need to come up with the desired solution, because everybody was following different laws. So whenever the registration जब भी registration registrar जाता था एनजीओ के दफातर में, तो एनजीओ वाले आगे से कहते थे कि जी हम लोग तो किसी और डिपार्टमेंट के साथ रजिस्टर हैं, तो हम आपके साथ कॉपरेट नहीं करेंगे. तो दैट्स व्हाई एनजीओ बिल इज देयर. सो नाउ इट इज स्टिल विद द अपर हाउस. व्हाटएवर द डिसीजन इज, इट लाइज विद द कंसर्निंग हाई लेवल पोर्टफोलियो और अथॉरिटीज, बट स्टिल इट इज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ डिस्कशन. Donors to non-government sector organizations. The democracy and governance activity, which will operate independently to the government of Pakistan, and the basic education activity are being coordinated with other major donors such as Asian Development Bank, World Bank, United Nations Children Fund, Canada, European Union. There are other donors too, और donors जो हैं वो fund देते हैं in order to lay by. These are the donors जो education activity को कर रहे हैं, और इसको जो डोनर्स इसमें हैं उसमें एशियन डेवलपमेंट बैंक इज देयर, वर्ल्ड बैंक इज देयर, यूनाइटेड नेशंस चिल्ड्रन फंड इज देयर, कनाडा का जो है, और यूरोपीय यूनियन इज देयर. मेजरली देयर आर अदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस टू, बट 1 2 3 4 5 organizations are mentioned over here, which are basically 4 organizations are the major donors for the education system. So Asian Development Bank, World Bank, United Nations Children Fund, Canada and European Union. All donor programs focus on Pakistan's priority needs as defined in the World Bank supported Nation's Social Action Program, which encourages NGO and private sector participation in the delivery of social services. अगर आप देखें तो जितने भी डोनर के प्रोग्राम्स हैं, फोकसिंग प्रायर उनकी फोकस यही है कि वर्ल्ड बैंक की जो सपोर्टेड नेशनल सोशल एक्शन प्रोग्राम है उसको सपोर्ट किया जाए, जो इनकरेज करता है एनजीओ को, जो इनकरेज करता है प्राइवेट सेक्टर पार्टिसिपेशन को इन द डिलीवरी ऑफ सोशल सर्विस. द मेजर फोकस इज these all donors that to have a sustainability in the area, to have advocacy in the people of Pakistan, and mostly NGOs are working on the funds given to them. There are lots of projects which are implemented by the non-government sector community based organizations, especially in the areas of KP, where Save the Children UK has funded. If you talk about Jalozai Camp, then Jalozai Camp has got a lot of funding. Save the Children UK is there, UNHCR is there, UNDP is there, then OCHA, Office of Combined Humanitarian Assistance is there. So UNICEF is there. So there are lots of organizations which are funding, and there are community-based organizations. There are local NGOs which are basically implementing. But they can't fund in a spur of a moment. Then आपको तब फंडिंग मिलेगी जब आपके पास एडवोकेट स्टाफ होगा, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अपने ऑब्जेक्टिव्स को मीट अप कर रही होगी, वो आके आपका ऑफिस विजिट करेंगे, आप एक प्रपोजल को डिफेंड करेंगे, आप उनके सामने प्रपोजल देंगे, वो आपके हर स्टाफ से मिलेंगे आके. जब वो ये चेक कर लेंगे कि आपकी कैपेबिलिटी, आपकी कैपेसिटी है कि आप इस प्रोग्राम को, इस प्रोजेक्ट को रन कर सकते हैं, तो ओनली देन वो आपको फंडिंग करेंगे. अगेन फंडिंग के मैकेनिज्म्स भी डिफरेंट होते हैं, कुछ क्वार्टरली होते हैं, कुछ सेमी एनुअली होते हैं, लेकिन मोस्टली एनुअल बेस पे या सेमी एनुअली बेस पे जो फंडिंग अथॉरिटीज हैं, डोनर्स जो हैं, वो नॉन गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को फंड करते हैं. So NGO is a platform. We are living in that type of critical situation as far as Pakistan society is concerned, where civil society is facing numerous challenges and threats from various quarters. There is a need to have a strong platform of NGOs to effectively address these issues and convey civil society voices and concerns to policy makers and planners for this region where people are always being crying for help, help and help. So in the light of this whole paragraph, especially in Pakistan, the situation is very critical as far as the working for the civil society is concerned. And there are the threats which are from various quarters. So there is a need of one platform, which is NGO platform for all NGOs. So that can address on the issues and the solutions of the societies, and they can address on the society voice and concerns, which is the poor society which always cry for help and help. So the planners are there to provide the solution, and the platform for NGO is the requirement. The platform for the non-government sector organization, the strong platform is the requirement. On the basis of it, only the problems faced by the community is to be addressed. Why there is a need of trusting NGOs? The World Bank consider Pakistan a low-income country. Due to its per capita gross domestic product GDP of about $470, जो एक बंदे की कमाई है, life expectancy is about 60 years, 62 साल की उम्र तक भी लोग नहीं पहुंचते और फौत हो जाते हैं. तो the World Bank is of the view that Pakistan is a low income country, और इसका per capita income भी बहुत कम है और life expectancy भी 62 साल तक की है. तो population currently about 150 million is growing at about 2.4% per year, very close to the GDP growth rate. Relatively few government resources have been devoted to socio-economic development. देखा ये गया है कि बहुत कम resources जो है गवर्नमेंट के इस्तेमाल हुए हैं socio-economic development के लिए, सोसाइटी को डेवलप करने के लिए. इसलिए NGOs को ट्रस्ट करना ज़रूरी है. NGOs के माना कि अपने एजेंडाज होते हैं, लेकिन at the end of the day they are really working for the society, for the community development, and they provide a substantial role. They play a substantial role. They play a 100% role in providing sustainable development or in implementing sustainable development in the area where there is a marginalized community, there is a people they are living underprivileged. गवर्नमेंट के पास उतने रिसोर्सेज नहीं है, तो इसलिए एनजीओ को ट्रस्ट करना भी जरूरी. एनजीओ इज द ओनली सोल्यूशन. अगर आप देखें इंडिया में अगर जितनी आवाम है तो हर 400 बंदे के लिए एक एनजीओ. सो इन पाकिस्तान ऐसा क्यों नहीं है? इन एडवोकेट और पाकिस्तान में अगर एनजीओ है तो 48% क्यों अनरजिस्टर्ड? सवाल ये उठता है. इन एडवोकेट प्रोविजन ऑफ सोशल सर्विसेज एंड हाई पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ रेट कंट्रीब्यूट टू द परसिस्टेंट पॉवर्टी एंड अनइक्वल इनकम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. आप देखें कि हम लोगों की इन एडवोकेट प्रोविजन ऑफ सोशल सर्विसेज हैं और हाई पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ रेट है, जिसकी वजह से क्या मसला हो रहा है जी? इट कंट्रीब्यूट टू द परसिस्टेंट पॉवर्टी, जो विशियस सर्कल ऑफ पॉवर्टी पहले से मौजूद है, जिसमें लो सेविंग है, लो इन्वेस्टमेंट है, लोग कमा नहीं रहे हैं, लोग लगा नहीं रहे हैं, लोग पैसा नहीं कमा रहे, जो जिस हाल में बस उसी हाल में या उससे नीचे जा रहे हैं. तो अनइक्वल इनकम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन भी है, लोगों में इक्वली इनकम को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं किया गया. So this also needs a platform to be overcome, to which NGOs are the only solution. Non-government sector organizations, non-profit sector organizations are the only solution, I must say over here. अच्छा, अभी तक बात की सारी जो एडवांटेजेस या जो अच्छा जो सक्सेस है नॉन गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का. नॉन गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को सबने यूनाइटेड नेशंस ने भी एक नाम दिया, लोकल गवर्नमेंट का भी पार्टिसिपेटरी रोल होना जरूरी है, लेकिन देयर आर सर्टेन फेलियर्स ऑफ एनजीओज इन पाकिस्तान. The failure of non-government sector organizations and misappropriation of funds by them is not a new phenomena in Pakistan. जब से NGOs बनी है देखा ये गया कि करप्शन हुई है जी फंडिंग के लिहाज से, और इनकी वर्किंग भी मिसअप्रोप्रिएट थी, इनके फंड को लगाने का तरीका भी मिसअप्रोप्रिएट था, और इट्स नॉट अ न्यू फेनोमेना. बट अनदर डिबेट स्टार्टेड विद इन पीपल एंड थ्रू प्रिंट मीडिया अबाउट द वे NGOs वर्क एंड एडवांटेजेस दे टेक फ्रॉम फंड्स अवेलेबल टू देम. अगेन जो अभी डिबेट स्टार्ट हो चुकी है और लोग अभी भी ये डिबेट्स कर रहे हैं कि प्रिंट मीडिया भी ये डिबेट कर रहा है कि क्या एनजीओ वाकयातन वैसे ही काम करती है, क्या एनजीओ अपने एडवांटेजेस के लिए अपनी जेब में पैसे डालते हैं या आवाम के लिए काम करते हैं? Corruption and dishonesty has lurked in all sectors of Pakistan. So, as with these organizations, it is important that non-government sector organization, honest non-government sector organizations work करें area के अंदर. According to one of these critics, एक नकाद परस्त ने criticism किया और critics ने अपनी आय के लिहाज से एक बात बोली. उन्होंने ये बोला कि most of these NGOs are headed by influential politicians, bureaucrats, and rich people elite. These are the people who plunder in the name of NGOs and deprive the deserving people of their rights. There are the NGO people who were riding on bicycles in the past, now own more than one vehicle such as Honda Accord and Pajero Land Cruiser, another type of NGO, and another type of the transport at their home. So, लोगों का ये क्रिटिसिज्म है कि लोग जब एनजीओ बना लेते हैं तो वो अपनी जेब में पैसे डालते हैं. वो लोग जो पहले मोटरसाइकिलों पे आते थे अब वो होंडा गाड़ियों में या पजारो या लैंड क्रूजर्स पे सफर कर रहे हैं, अपने घर में उन्होंने रखी हुई हैं. Those had pennies, किसी ज़माने में उनकी जेब में चौनी भी नहीं थी. Until yesterday, now they have accounts in millions of dollars. What to say accounts in rupees? The ill-mannered people now have their meals in 5-star hotels. So this is one criticism again by one of the critics that NGOs are there just to fill their own pockets up. They are not there to provide the benefits to the public, to the community. Another statement given by the government official that published says, the deserving people get a very small amount after a thorough probe. Once there is a thorough investigation done by the non-government sector organization. So deserving people जो हैं वो उनको जो इमदाद मिलती है वो बहुत कम है. While on the other hand, अगर दूसरी तरफ देखा जाए, NGOs get huge amounts on the recommendations of ministers or influencers. The proverb for such NGOs is gold attracts the gold. This is again a statement. There's another leading to it. There's another critic that they are not the ordinary women, rather the wives of rich or elite. The question is, what is the purpose of these NGOs? What is the use of funds being received by these NGOs? If these NGOs have implemented the programs according to their constitutions, then unlike today, condition of the poor woman was different. The poor woman condition was not so miserable. The society might not be desperate. So again, उनका कहना है, लोगों का ये जो critics हैं, उनका ये कहना है कि अगर NGO सही काम करती हैं तो आज क्यों deprive होते हैं लोग, लोगों को क्यों underprivileged रह रहे होते हैं, लोगों को क्यों advocacy की जरूरत होती, लोग क्यों desperate हुई हुई, society पूरी desperate हुई हुई होती, क्यों हुई हुई. So again, ये criticism है, ये एक school of thought का criticism है. ये जरूरी नहीं है कि ये सही भी हो, लेकिन ये सही, ये critic अगर है तो बहुत से लोगों की राय भी इसमें शामिल है. तो बेसिकली NGOs are not there to fulfill their pockets. They are there for the public participation. They are there for the sustainable development. They are there for the community development. They are there for the community participation. They are there for the advocacy. They are not there to fill their own pockets up. There are various non-government sector, non-profit organizations. List is mentioned underneath. First one is Academic for Education Development, which is in Pakistan. Action Aid, Pakistan. Adventist Development and Relief Agency, Pakistan. AFS Interculture Exchanges, Pakistan. Himalaya Foundation, Pakistan. Arab Pakistani Fund. Asian Human Rights Development Organization, Pakistan. Association for the Development of Pakistan. Aurat Foundation. Bedari. Braille Without Borders. Bremen Overseas Research and Development Association. CARE Pakistan. Caritas Pakistan. Carter Center. Child Reach International. Chiltern Adventures Association, Balochistan. William J. Clinton Foundation, CMKP Pakistan, Conservation International Pakistan, Consumer Rights Commission of Pakistan, Darul Sukoon, David and Lucille Packard Foundation, ED Foundation, Environmental Defense, Environmental Investigation Agency, FAS Foundation for Pakistan, Family Health International, Fatma Jinnah Trust, Fatma Welfare Foundation, Fauna and Flora International, Ford Foundation, Friedrich Ebert Stiftung, Friends of Pakistan, Friends of the Earth Pakistan, Habib Jalib Institute for Social Development, जो revolutionary शायर थे उनके ऊपर रखा गया, Habitat for Humanity International, Health Unlimited, Heart to Heart International, Heifer Project International, Heinrich Böll Foundation, Hope International, Humanity First, Oxfam GB, I Donate Pakistan, Idara-e Aman-e-Insaf, Institute for Sustainable Communities, International Committee for the Red Cross, International Development Enterprises, International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent, International Fund for Animal Welfare, International Organization for Sustainable Development, International Republican Institute, Islamic Relief, and there are various other organizations. मैं नाम लेता चलूँ इनके: Mary L. Dillard Leprosy Center, Mennonite Central Committee, MKR Foundation, Muslim Charity, Muslim Hands, Muslim World League, Médecins du Monde, Médecins Sans Frontières, Minhaj Welfare Foundation. There are so many organizations which are working in Pakistan as a non-profit sector organizations, and they are playing their role significantly. National Democratic Institute for International Affairs is there. National Resources Defense Council is there. New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association is there. NRDF, National Research and Development Foundation, is there. AKRSP, Akhan Rural Support Program, is there. So there are lots of organizations which are over here in Pakistan. In the light of above discussion, whatever we have found out from the United Nations perspective, from the public eye, from the NGO perspective, the role of NGO is highlighted in this lecture. They played a tremendous role, but still there is a criticism to it that they pave the effort. They are not working. There are people who say that they are not really respectively going for the efforts, philanthropic initiatives, and again criticism is there. So non-profit sector organizations, and up till now we have studied that the role they have performed very diligently, but still more focus is required on advocacy and other related measures, other themes. Education and healthcare was initially एक वक्त में शुरू हुआ, और अब they are playing their significant role in the capacity development, in the society development, in the community-based development. And मैंने ये भी आज डिस्कस किया आप लोगों से कि किस तरीके से डोनर्स फंड कर रहे हैं, वो कौन कौन सी ऐसी टर्मिनोलॉजीज हैं या लिंगोज हैं यूनाइटेड नेशंस इस्तेमाल करते हैं, जो जिसमें एक्रोनियम्स हैं, जिसमें बिंगो है, बोंगो है, देयर आर CBOs हैं, NPOs हैं, VOs हैं. तो ये सारी टर्मिनोलॉजीज पाकिस्तान के अंदर तो एग्जिस्ट नहीं करती, लेकिन ज्यादातर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस ऐसी हैं जो पाकिस्तान में एग्जिस्ट करती हैं. आने वाले लेक्चर में हम रोल ऑफ NGO, चैरिटेबल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस एंड ट्रस्ट को बगौर भी देख लेंगे, कौन कौन सी ऐसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं जो कि अपना रोल अदा कर रहे हैं और मुनसिफाना तरीके से अदा कर रहे हैं, आज जो हम लोगों ने स्टडी किया वो मोर फोकस था कि रोल क्या क्या थे, किस तरह की डिफाइन करना है, यूनाइटेड नेशंस का क्या पर्सपेक्टिव है. आने वाले वक्तों में हम लोग देखेंगे कि किस तरीके से वो कौन कौन सी एग्जांपल्स हैं चैरिटेबल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की, जैसे कि नाम आपको मेंशन किए, वो कौन कौन से ट्रस्ट की एग्जांपल्स हैं जैसे कि नाम आपको मेंशन किए, जो कि अपना रोल अदा कर रहे हैं. उस वक्त तक के लिए अल्लाह हाफिज.